way to start the show. All right, this is the Rough Report, and we are reporting live from Ottawa, Ontario, this nation's capital. Just gonna roll off the music there. All right, cool. Thanks for joining us. Oh, what a month it has been. It's been about a month since our last episode.
Yeah, actually, you're right.
Yeah. And that's why I say month and not a week this time. We like to think that we're a weekly show. But
We have aspirations.
we aspire to be a weekly show.
Yeah.
Hello, Jessica, our most loyal viewer. Thank you for joining us once again. Oh man, it's just such a shame because like the view count on like Twitter and stuff has been like really high. I don't know what's going on with it, but it made me feel like, oh, okay, like I'm noticing everyone's getting lots of views on their tweets, like everybody, and the numbers just seem higher than usual. And I don't know if that was just people in like my Twitter circle or whatever.
Yeah.
But I thought, oh, okay, so hopefully a lot of people will see when I post the link to our show. And it's got like the lowest view count of all the tweets I made. And it's like, does that have something to do with the... Like, is that like an algorithm thing where it doesn't want you like to go to an outside website? Like, is it bogging down YouTube links?
No. Maybe.
Yeah, like I don't know. I honestly don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought it was funny that like, oh, anything that has a link in it just gets smacked down. How do people get around that? Well, paying for advertising probably is how they get around that, I imagine. Yeah.
We're not giving you money, Musk.
Yeah, I already feel bad enough that I sometimes give money to Facebook for advertising.
Yeah.
And I don't even know how useful that is. Because, like, Facebook is so bot infested.
Yeah, Jessica was just saying it's the outside link. So a lot of the time people post that they're live and then comment underneath the link. So
see, I thought of doing that, but I was like, does that really make a difference? Because, like, if they're bogging down outside links in the first place, is replying the link really making that much of a difference? You know what I'm saying? Like, wouldn't they already have something like that in play? Maybe I'm just assuming the wrong thing. But
I mean, it's worth a shot for the next show.
Yeah.
See what difference that makes.
Yeah, see if it changes the metrics at all. Yeah. It's wild that they do that because, like, to me, and maybe that's just like the kind of Ouroboros of social media, like sort of destroying itself ever so slowly and painfully, and that, like, half the point is getting to see the stuff that, like, your friends are doing. Yeah. And a lot of the time that's going to involve going to, a different website.
Okay, but right off the hop right there, social media is no longer interested in showing you what your friends are doing.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So
that's not like the selling point of it, which then makes me wonder, okay, what is the selling point of it? Why are we still doing this?
Yeah.
It's almost like, for me, it almost just feels like habit, although, like, I honestly don't know how much of a positive impact, on anything I'm trying to promote, like this show, that social media honestly has. When you get was it a bug in there or something?
I felt a tickle, and so I was just trying to discreetly.
Okay, that's a little creepy. That is, you do not want to feel a unexpected tickle in the headphones. That seems bad.
Okay.
Hopefully, it was just one of your like loose hairs or something in there.
Well, if if I throw up,
if she suddenly screams in the middle of the show
and I disappear, then something not great happens.
Oh, that'd be. Oh my God, that would be so terrible. But I would laugh, and I apologize in advance for how hard I would laugh at that.
I mean, I would allow you to laugh. Then you just also have to hold me while I cried and screamed.
Okay, fair deal. It's a good trade. I can do that.
Yeah. But anywho, yeah, TLDR social media is dead. I think that a lot of us of our age group are just still on it because of habit.
Yeah.
Because, there was a point where it was a place where you'd go and see what your family and friends are up to. But now the algorithms have decided that, no, money. So you're going to see ads and these pages that are paying for
boosted content. Yeah.
Boosted content. So fuck you and fuck your mom.
Yeah. Oh, God, am I going to start another sneezing fit now?
You might. Yeah, so another mark against the healthcare system.
God.
I have a family doctor in Ottawa, but James's is in
Mine's still in Toronto, yeah.
But the thing is, the reason we still have that is we intend to move back to the GTA. And so we're kind of like keeping one foot in each town. So that medically
you gotta play your cards in this system. That's how it be. Yeah.
And so there's no good solutions for this.
Yeah.
Especially I can't remember if we've had a show since your Splinter incident.
Oh, here, let me turn you up a bit.
Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now? Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, have we had a show since your Splinter incident?
No.
Yeah.
No.
So indicative of our healthcare issues. If you want to take over, because I'm going to burp and
okay.
drink.
I noticed a raccoon is trapped in a dumpster. There's this girl that works at one of the shops across the way there, and she's afraid to throw her garbage in the dumpster because she knows there's a raccoon in there. And I was like, oh, it's up near the front of the, I kind of peeked in and was like, oh, it's up near the front of the dumpster. It's fine. You just throw it into the back. You'll totally miss it. It won't be bothered. And me, I love raccoons, so I want to get a closer look at this thing. And it is this was a really hot day outside. It was probably 32 degrees Celsius out. So yeah, it was really hot. And thus the inside of a big steel dumpster would be very hot as well. And yeah, when I looked at him, I noticed he was just panting and not having a good, there was this longing and sorrow in his eyes. And he was trying to hop out, but he was too deep in. He couldn't reach the edge. And so I got a skid that was leaning up against the dumpster and put it in so he could use it as a ladder to climb out. Now, when I did this, of course, I got stabbed with a big freaking sliver. Yeah. And so big freaking sliver from a skid leaning up against a dumpster. Yeah, that's probably prone to infection, I would think.
And probably a good occasion for tetanus shot.
Yeah, so because I remembered I hadn't had one in over 10 years. It had been that long. And I was like, oh, shit, so I better take care of this now. And yeah, it just was a shocking rigmarole. The amount of places I went and waited and tried to get answers, and how kind of vague the internet was. And in other provinces, you can go to pharmacies and stuff and have a pharmacist administer a tetanus shot, but not yet in Ontario. There's other vaccines that they can do, but the tetanus one, not. Just apparently they can't do that one yet for whatever reason.
Yeah. And around Ottawa, it was just an issue of trying to figure out where the fuck they would do this.
Yeah.
Because apparently the regular walk-in that we use that's close by,
they're just the explanation I got from them was really strange. I made a TikTok about it, so you can go. I should put my TikTok link actually in up here.
I'm surprised you haven't.
Well, you can go to theroughgo.com as well and find all the links there as well. But yeah, so there's the whole story there, and that was a whole rigmarole. And then it turned out, there was a place down the street that I could get it done at. And so what was frustrating then was how come it took all this just to find that out?
Yeah, it was closing in
How
on
is
like
that not
72
like an
hours.
obvious answer? You know,
it
like
was closing in on like 72 hours, and he couldn't even get answers as to where
yeah,
it was.
that was the bizarre part. So it's like, okay, like it feels a bit silly that could have gone down just the street here,
Yeah.
and had it done, but
No one knew that.
no one knew that. It's there's no answer that would tell me that. I just
'cause you even
I
told-
happened to go. I got there very early, like right before they were opening. So there already was a tiny lineup, and this was like a private walk-in clinic or whatever. Applebee's health clinic, and so I got it done there, and then and it actually wasn't that bad. The cool thing about that actually was once I was like checked in, they were like, it's gonna be at least like 45 minutes an hour before the doctor can see you. Do you want us to just like call or text you when your turn is next, and you can just like leave for a while? I was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
And so I just like came home and chilled for a bit, and they called me, and then I got my ass back there in like 5 minutes, and
Because it's
it
right
was,
down the road.
and it was fine. So it's just like everything leading up to that being like, why is this so difficult?
Yeah.
That was the crazy thing.
Yeah. Because didn't you call telehealth?
I did. I did.
And telehealth didn't know.
And telehealth, basically what the answer I got from telehealth, it was like, you should talk to a nurse. Okay, put me on with a nurse. One will call you back in 2 days. And it's just like, I'm just trying to get an answer on where I can go. Like, I don't, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, and he did go to Emerge too, but he went to Emerge at night, and they didn't have a doctor.
No, they did,
Wow.
but it was just like, as far as emergencies go,
Unless you're
you're
dead
pretty
and dying,
low.
you're not gonna see
You're pretty low priority, so you're going to be waiting until like the morning, like the wee hours of the morning before anybody's going to see you. And I thought, okay, well, I guess I might as well just fuck off. And
Yeah. So it's not that nothing was tried. It's just that our healthcare system is
telehealth
fractured.
is such a waste of time. Like I'm thinking, what's the point of this service? What is the point?
I'm sure there are points, but this wasn't it.
Yeah.
And that fucking sucks. So, anywho, healthcare in Ontario is doing great.
Thanks, Doug. Thanks, Dougie boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anywho, why are we here?
Okay, so speaking of, let's get into Canadian politics here. The Liberal NDP deal is dead.
Kaputski.
Yeah. What did it accomplish? And it actually accomplished a fair bit, thanks to the NDP holding up this Liberal government.
Yeah.
Some reasonable things were done, not as far as we would like, I think. Like,
not as far as the NDP wanted, but they weren't the ones with all the power, so all they could do is push.
So as far as like universal dental is gone, we're well on our way. This is good stuff. It's getting to people, and there have been like making people eligible in like blocks. So it started with kids. I think we're eligible.
I think the elderly.
Then it went to like seniors after that, and so they've just been kind of like doing it that way, and so like millions of people have been hooked up with dental coverage, which is great, but it shouldn't have to be something that requires eligibility. Yeah, let's say. Yeah. If we're talking like a real dental care coverage system here, we're talking like universal, right? That would be the ideal. Yeah. But it's again millions more people that didn't have it before. So take the wins where we can get them on that one. What was the other one? I think daycare. There was some headway there on making daycare more affordable and childcare more affordable. Wow, man. I'm trying to remember it all, but meanwhile, like it is listed in the in this article here. So here, let me scroll down and Pharmacare. Yeah, right. That was the other big one that I was forgetting there. Pharmacare.
So yeah, like I approve of the stuff that the NDP has been able to push the Liberals to do. I think it speaks poorly of the Liberals that they needed to push.
Yep.
And so I think that, if you consider yourself left, you should see how much the Liberals do not do. Just, unless they're under duress or pressure. But also, so in terms of the timing, so the latest date for the next federal election is October 2025. And personally, I think it makes sense for Singh to end the agreement now, because this gives the NDP enough time. It doesn't mean
strategically it does, like from that sort of standpoint, it does make sense. Yeah.
To separate themselves from Liberals, to not just seem right up until election date as though
they're more or less the same party.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Because like I said,
I think that is too true in a lot of ways, but there's still important distinctions that remain that would make me sooner an NDP voter than a Liberal one.
Well, I think a lot of leftists understand that we don't get the left government that we want, right?
Yeah. There's no serious leftist movement in anywhere in North America. Yeah, I would say.
Yeah. I mean, that'd be great. That's not what we're working with right now, and so you do the best you can with what you got to work with. And yeah, I think that I don't imagine that the NDP is going to join with the Conservatives and opt right for vote of no confidence to try and push an election through right now anyways. I think they're still going to wait. I think this just helps them to ideologically help differentiate themselves, so that when it does come to election time, that voters can see that, so without the NDP joined with Liberals, we're not getting more of the stuff that we want. So if we do want this good, positive stuff, then we actually need to fucking vote for these guys.
Yeah. I think he actually lays it out pretty good, just in we're obviously not going to watch all 12 minutes of this, but just like right in the first couple minutes, they establish what is, good and different about the NDP and why they've chosen to make this decision.
Hi, Mr. Singh. Good to see you. Thank you so much for making the time.
My pleasure.
Mr. Singh, in your video yesterday and in the comments you made today, you called the Liberals and the government more specifically weak and selfish. You said they've let Canadians down, they've abandoned Canadians, and that they have led to endless disappointment for Canadians. How can you ever support them going forward after saying that?
Well, we've torn up the agreement with Justin Trudeau.
I just want to start by saying, I think that's a really weird way to phrase that question. How could you ever support them after you say those things? And it's just they could do things we support. That would be it's I don't know. It feels just like a silly question a little bit.
Well, it feels leading.
Yeah.
It'd be like, so if you support them again, then you're going back on everything. No,
that seems to be
done.
And you'll see.
I've torn that up, and I know that means election is more likely than before. And it was really clear to me, there's mounting evidence that Justin Trudeau and the Liberals were just too weak to take on corporate greed. They were too beholden to corporate interests to stop big corporate grocery stores and corporate landlords from ripping people off. And frankly, they're too weak to stand up to the real threat of Conservatives under Pierre Poilievre, who want to cut our healthcare system and cut pensions. So for all those reasons, we've ripped up the agreement, and we're putting to Canadians the choice for the next elections between New Democrats who are going to give people hope, or Pierre Poilievre and the Conservatives who want to cut.
I like how we phrased that at the end too. What the choices are between, and removing Justin from that equation. That's kind of funny. Jessica, there in the chat, it feels like drama baiting. Yeah, it kind of is.
For sure.
And it's funny because watch what she does, because she basically is going to try and rephrase the question, but basically ask it almost the same way. She does the drama baiting thing again, right after this, but he's right that there are things that, despite the work that they've done together, right, despite the fact that there have been things that have moved them forward, there are too many occasions where Trudeau is capitulating to moneyed interests.
Yeah.
And
I mean, that's what the Liberals do.
yeah, and NDP doesn't want to necessarily brand themselves that way. They don't want to be part and parcel to that, where it's just like, well, NDP, you supported this the whole time. You know, stick them with that. But of course, what really gets me, though, a bit of a side point to this video, but what really gets me that I find underhanded is the Liberals framing it as Jagmeet Singh has decided to capitulate to the Conservatives.
Yeah, that's
the Conservative pressure to tear up this agreement. Of course, the Conservatives wanted them to tear up the agreement. Of course, they did. They don't want they want the Liberals to have as less power as possible, even if it is just symbolic or theoretical.
The Conservatives want an election now.
Yeah, exactly. So, of course they want that, but because he does that, does not mean it's because of them. It's just like it's like you're already putting on your shoes and your hat, and then they're telling you to get out, and it's just like, I was already going, so well, you get out of here. I was. Don't worry about it, bro. So. Yeah, that feels like really underhanded and slimy, and it's so obvious. Yeah. You know, like I don't get what they're trying to accomplish with that, other than making themselves look silly. But anyway, here she goes drama baiting again. I think it's right here, if I remember correctly.
But ripping up the agreement is just ending the formality of it. You explicitly said, for example, in that video, that you will continue to consider whether or not to support the government on matters of confidence on a case-by-case basis. Again, I'll put the question to you. You have told Canadians they are weak, they are selfish, that they have abandoned the very people who put them in office. You just described a host of reasons why you don't want to be a part of any formal agreement. How can you reconcile for Canadians watching now that you're still willing to vote with them and keep them in power on a case-by-case basis?
Because they want to do good things for Canadians.
Yeah, it's such an ideological way to phrase that question. Like it is that it's the whole like Slavoj Zizek eating from the trash can of ideology kind of crap. Like that is purely like this. It's an ideological projection that is not based in the material conditions of the fact that the Liberals are in power and they are going to have to work with them, because that is the reality. That is the physical reality that they're living in.
And the purpose of government is to do things for the people. And so the purpose of government is not just to force an election so that you have your turn.
I feel like this face he has right now kind of says it all, like, ugh, lady, you're killing me. Oh, God, this fucking lady.
Yeah.
Jesus, stupid fucking questions. All right, anyway, well, let's hear what Jagmeet has to say.
Well, I don't know what the votes are going to be, so we'll see what the vote is, and I'll make a decision based on what comes before me, using the lens of, is this in the best interest of Canadians? Depends on what the votes are and depends on what comes before us. But we know that this does certainly mean that an election is more likely, and that election will be about a choice. People are frustrated and done with the Liberals and Justin Trudeau, so it'll be between Pierre Poilievre and the Conservative cuts, or New Democrats' hope and building up the programs that people need.
So, why would the New Democrats want to, hitch their wagon to the Trudeau horse when he's going down in the polls?
Yeah.
It just makes sense.
Yeah, and this is what Canadians do. They'll have Liberals for a long time, and then they'll have Conservatives for a long time, and then they'll have Liberals for a long time. They just, get tired of the same old, and then, they shake things up. But to shake things up into a Conservative government is always fucking worse. So let's stop fucking doing that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because,
absolutely.
Yeah, they're not offering anything constructive or positive.
Yeah. And as much as you can say that the Liberals and the Conservatives are all too similar, just like Democrats and Republicans, But the reality is, one of the major parties is going to win, There is no groundwork for anything else to happen.
Yeah.
I think that, like, at least in Canada, there is the groundwork with the NDP. They're an established enough and powerful enough party to reasonably win an election.
Yeah.
So, like, in Canada at least, we have a legitimate third party option that actually wins seats and gains power enough that they would have to make a deal with the minority Liberal government in order to build things and make progress. So they have a case for relevancy there. I can't say the same thing for American politics, where you have Jill Stein in the Green Party, and I think it's, I don't want to piss on the Green Party parade here, but I think it is extremely pie in the sky to think that she could win this election. It's just, I'm sorry, it's not going to happen. It's just not. Observe the physical reality of the situation. Going because she's basically scoring off of the anti-genocide position, which, I mean, is a good position.
Yeah.
Of course. But you don't have the basis of support to defeat either of the other parties. You just don't.
No.
Yeah, like what do you got in the like she's polling like 5% nationally, and I think that's a generous take.
No.
So yeah, I would love to think that there was a viable, more leftist third party option in the United States, but there's not.
For the election in November 2024, it's not there.
No.
And I hope that more Americans will work together to make that viable third option.
But that's the other problem with the Green Party that a lot of people have that may vote for them and like their politics, is that they haven't been doing that organizational work in between elections.
Yeah.
They're not building the excitement that, so when an election comes around, they're going to go, oh yeah, the Greens. It's just like they seem to pop up when the option between the two present ones is just really particularly bad. Then that's when you maybe hear about a third party option kind of gaining some relevancy. But again, they only get like 5%, something like that. It's not enough to change or sway the system.
It's enough to either
it could cost a party the election.
That's what I was going to say.
It could make or break it. But it depends on which party you want to lose and which one you want to win, right? So be strategic here is what I'm saying. Because, if you live in one of those states or one of those districts that, your vote for Democrat, say, it's just going to mean dick all. Sure, then give your vote to the Greens.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
But if that's not the case, I don't want to tell you which way to vote. I do not have an entire. I don't have a lot of faith in the electoral system as it exists in Canada or the United States. I don't think it's going to change things in any fundamental or meaningful way.
But at the same time, one side will be elected and will have access to budgets and to priorities to lead the country either up or down.
Yeah, I think like at this point, going Democrat is barely harm reduction, if at all. But if it is even a little bit, I think that's worth taking. If that's your only options, when faced with the material condition, with the physical reality that it's gonna be A or B, even though you don't like A or B could both be the fucking Satan incarnate, right? But it's gonna be A or B.
It's gonna be A or B. So these are the parties that you will need to continue living and organizing under. So what one seems a little bit easier to organize under. So I
think that's the way to phrase it, and to emphasize organize under. or like
To keep fucking going.
Yeah, to
Like,
keep going.
doesn't stop
I don't
at
know.
elections.
I found myself saying this for the past number of elections, where like because I was of the mind back in when was Obama elected? 2008.
Yeah, 2008 to 2016.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. So I remember his inauguration, and I remember thinking like post-Bush years, because I kind of came to adolescence and adulthood in the Bush years, and so seeing Obama come along and the whole hope and change thing, I was still young and naive enough to think that there was some promise here.
Yeah.
And after seeing that was not the case, my attitude towards the effectiveness of electoralism drastically changed.
Yeah. I mean, how could it fucking not? But I think that this is the first show that we've done since Biden stepped down.
No, I think the one we did last month. Yeah, because he stepped down in like July.
Did he?
Yeah.
I remember nothing.
I'm pretty sure our last show he had stepped down. Yeah. Because like I think we talked a bit about how it was strange that AOC seemed so in.
Right. No, and
for
also
Biden.
Yeah, we also addressed that we thought that they might at the Democratic National Convention they might put up other candidates or something.
Right.
Or a vote or anything.
Right. Yes. Yes.
So okay. So yeah. I'm back.
I mean, it was a month ago, so like, I mean, yeah.
And so much has
It's been a
happened.
crazy month.
Fuck.
It's been a crazy month.
Yeah. Speaking of which, let's move on to another topic. Let's just bang, 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 because I'm in the office at 7 a.m. and.
Oh, you want this to be a short show? Is
I
what
want
you're
it
saying?
to be an hour, and we have 25 minutes left.
Okay. So, this might be my most viral tweet of all time. I didn't compare. I've had a couple that have gone like kind of crazy viral.
Yeah.
But this one, and again, like I'm gonna criticize the Twitter metrics here, because like the way I see this in a lot of tweets these days, the view numbers just seem insane. There's no way I got this many views on this fucking tweet. Okay, that just doesn't make sense.
No.
I don't know what counts as a view.
No.
But the fact that I apparently got 18.7 million views, okay, on this fucking tweet. I pulled this tweet out of my ass, okay? Like, I was just sitting there musing to myself about, oh, yeah, that guy had some racist puppets. I was fucked.
Yeah.
That was basically the extent of my thinking here.
Yeah.
And, oh, my God, people lost it.
Yeah.
The racist puppet man has shooters out there, okay, folks? He has shooters out there.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Jimmy hurt some feelings.
Yeah. And people tried to hurt Jimmy's feelings, which, I mean, I have a pretty good sense of humor about myself. I don't take myself that seriously, in the sense of like, if you're going to make fun of my appearance and stuff. I mean, they think like it really makes me laugh that people look at my profile picture here, okay, and think I'm a serious individual with that I took that picture thinking, oh, I people will take me as a serious professional in this photo. No, this photo was designed for these types of people to look at it and be annoyed. that is what that is for. Okay,
And it's so good at it.
Holy fuck, it works. Oh my God, it works. I got some pretty good insults. Again, like I think what is it? I didn't get to show the one. I posted it on my Facebook page, and I think on the Rough Go Instagram as well, where one of the best insults I've gotten was, "You look like a combination of John Waters and Sid the Sloth." Like from the Ice Age thing, and it's just like, I got the Irish ass. Wide skull with the wide set eyes. I've made fun of my sister before about that. It was like a meme that was like, there's two kinds of Irish faces, and it was like the thin pole face with the eyes that are like right next to each other, and then the wide ass skull with like the fish eyes, like the Han family has, and get it from that side, and yeah. And we all got this skull shape, so I thought that was like I got like a good insult when it's creative. Like the amount of people that were just like angry enough to just want to just like call slurs all the time, where like they're just slurs. It's just like, oh man, you know.
It's like you like the
all that tells me
of
is just that you're mad. That's all that just says. It's just like, you know, if you put some creativity into it, you could at least be like trying to be funny.
You could at least be memorable.
Yeah. So that guy was memorable because of that insult. But that wasn't that was an insult from like a few weeks ago, detached from this incident. Okay. But the recent one that I got was because of calling racist puppet man. I am white guilt Waluigi.
Amazing.
That's pretty good.
That's good.
That's honestly pretty good. I can't even be mad. Can't even be mad.
Nice.
White guilt Waluigi.
Yeah.
And it was somebody who with a much bigger follower count than me quote tweeted and basically was trying to like make fun of me and saying like I think she was said she comes from a Muslim family in Indonesia or something. I'm not sure where, but Muslim family. Anyway, and they're like, my family thought this was hilarious. You're defending terrorists. Okay. And it is such a bizarre interpretation, although removed from our North American culture. I could somewhat understand that interpretation. Like if we're talking about somebody who does not live in North America or hasn't, or you know, I can understand why they might come to that position. But and I'll get into that in a second. But yeah, she went on to call me a white guilt Waluigi, which you know, bravo, kudos. But I'm sorry, your take on it is wrong, or just you're looking at it from just a different cultural perspective, which there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. Like one person tried to like arguing with me, and I think we came to it was one of the people I argued with about this, that we kind of came to a reasonable understanding of it, where he was sort of accusing me of trying to tell Muslims how to feel about this racist caricature, and it's like, I'm not telling anybody how to feel. I'm saying this is how I felt about it. This was my experience with it. This is how it affected the people around me. And I can say for the white people in my vicinity, this was their pathway to be you know, just racist towards brown people in general.
Because like that's the thing about Jeff Dunham characters. They're not nuanced. They're not.
He's not talking about the politics of terrorism at all. Either. Like he's not, you know, being nuanced about this in any way. This is like Arab culture, ha ha ha. That's it's the extent of the joke.
Like his joke to his audience is literally lumping in all Arabs as this caricature. That's his intention. That's his audience's understanding. That's what it is. That is
what it's rooted in.
Well, his target audience, like we're all audience. Right?
That is what that character was born out of. That's what it appeals to people about. And sure, it's like he's got this like the silly expressions and the movements and stuff like that, and it's kind of cartoonish. That seems to be the majority of the jokes, and I think a lot of people who grew up seeing this guy on TV, that's how they remember him. He's silly voices, man. You know, how could you not enjoy that? He's got these little semi-grotesque cartoon characters sitting on his lap, and he's making funny voices. What's not to like, right? But then you look at it and go, okay, this was a time in North America, you know, where
post 9/11
world where Islamophobia was super normal, regular, everyday brown people, and it didn't matter if you were Middle Eastern or not. No. If you were brown,
They couldn't tell the
you were.
difference.
They didn't care to tell the difference. If you were brown skinned, you were a terrorist, or could be accused of being a terrorist. People would get uptight around you. You'd be stopped for the stop and frisk. And to the person that the white Gilwa Luigi lady, that was her, in my opinion, her main bad point about this, that she was way off in actually defending racism, in my opinion, is that she's like said that the terrorists were the reason that all these Muslims were put on no-fly lists and stuff like that, and why we were discriminated against in so many ways. And it's like, no. Racism is the reason you were discriminated against in so many ways.
Because it didn't start on 9/11.
No.
It ramped right the fuck up.
Yeah. It ramped way up. But it was because, those sentiments were already there. Yeah. Because that sense of othering of brown people in this country, in this region, in this part of the world.
Yeah, like in the original Back to the Future, the bad guys were the Libyans.
Yeah.
Like, that were just, like, caricatures of Arab terrorists. Well, I mean, they... it's funny because, like, Libya is North Africa, but...
It's still got that, like, kind of Middle Eastern, I think.
Well, it was the average geographical understanding of the difference between, like, Libyans and Arabs, or, like, North Africans. Yeah, and Middle Eastern, right? It's not great. So it's just, it's a whole deal.
It's painting it as just like the axis of evil. That's the bad part of the world, and all the governments that operate there. And they're and the religion that represents them, unlike us in the United States and Canada, where Christianity is more our thing, and just this constant othering of Islamic people and brown people and Middle Eastern people, and that's the culture that this guy became popular in, and that's what is super racist about it. It's just that simple. It's not like a profound statement that should enrage you to your core. It's not that even that you're not allowed to find it funny.
Yeah, whatever, man.
I mean, we're not coming for even the racism aside, and the fact that I found it wildly racist, and I know other people did as well, and I know based on the reaction that a lot of white racists, like people who had Nazi shit in their profiles, and like Deus Vult, people who fancied themselves as Templars, and I mean Templars, the Crusades, they killed a lot of Muslims. They have a weird fetishization about like Catholic superiority and things like that. That it's all rooted in that kind of stuff. Right. These are the people that were most mad about what I said. So I think that speaks to the sort of thing I'm trying to address in this. Okay.
And at the end of the day, if it ain't about you, don't make it about you. It's fine.
Yeah. you can enjoy Racist Puppet Man. It's like the guy, he's a big he's a big YouTube guy, but he's big on Twitter as well. I guess, one kind of goes hand in hand a lot of the time. But Big Joel, I don't know if you've ever heard of him. I mostly see him in regards to movie stuff. So in my mind, he's a movie guy. He might be a lot more than that. I don't know. But he did this review of 300. The Zack Snyder, Frank Miller comic book, Zack Snyder made into a movie, and basically how it was a fascist story. That like the morals of the movie basically speak to fascist ideals, and he did a pretty good breakdown of it. Now, I didn't agree necessarily with a lot of what he said, but I thought it was interesting. I thought it was an interesting perspective in how he broke it down, and maybe he wasn't necessarily wrong. Maybe there was that kind of vibe and intention behind it. I don't know, as a filmmaker, if Zack Snyder is necessarily politically aware enough to do that on purpose, but nonetheless, a lot of people got so mad at him for calling it a fascist movie. And as he said as well, it's like, it's okay to enjoy the fascist movie. You can find it entertaining. I did.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. But I'm just saying, like, be aware of kind of what you're observing, right? And what these messages are and what they might be speaking to. It's worthy of thinking about, you know? And so when you got the Whitey McWhiterson over here doing 3 racist caricatures. He's got the Mexican on the jalapeno on a stick, and whose entire thing is that he's illegal. Okay, and especially when you're talking about the border crisis right now, where people are getting like fucking maimed by like saw blades and shit, and drowned, and like, you know, I don't know. I personally just don't find, oh, I'm illegal, look at me, I'm on a stick, super entertaining. That's just me. Yeah. Okay, you could find that funny, and there was the other one. What was his name? Sweet Daddy D, a black pimp. That was a character this guy had. Like, you know, in the age of trying to call out blackface and stuff like that. That's some blackface kind of shit, right? And actually, to my understanding, he doesn't even use that anymore. He doesn't. I thought it was funny when I was 12, and a lot of people did. And I think there's that nostalgia bias there, where a lot of like the younger people, maybe who are now in their 20s or mid 20s at this point, who were upset about what I said. I think some of them had that kind of nostalgia bias where, like, no, he is happy memories of Funny Voice Man. And that's fine. Like, I'm not telling you to feel guilty about that. I'm not telling you to feel guilty about your whiteness. I am saying that the reality is that when you this was born out of stereotyping and capitalizing on stereotypes, and if that makes you feel uncomfortable and gives you pause, hey, that's for you to reflect on.
Welcome to the club. I know what to
that's for you to figure out. Okay, I'm not going to sit here and necessarily tell you how to feel about it. I can't tell you how to feel about it. I have no power over you. Okay, so getting mad at someone else's opinion, being like, you guys are miserable, you just can't find anything funny anymore. I find lots of things funny. I find making fun of racist Puppet Man funny. I find people getting really upset about the ventriloquist being criticized. I find that pretty funny. And I find it funny that people, you know, cite other comedians or other works of a comedic thing that have no equality to the thing at hand, where like there was somebody like, oh, I'd like to see this guy handle George Carlin. What are you talking about? I am extremely familiar with George Carlin. How does this even compare? First of all, George Carlin is funny in general as compared to this guy who's just not. But that is like what did George Carlin say that I'm supposed to be offended by is what I'm curious about.
Well, it's like someone.
What is it, the thing that you're thinking of in your mind where, oh, that would really get this? That would really get White Guilt Waluigi. You know, that would get under his skin. What bit of Carlin's are you thinking of?
It's like
that would do that.
It's like someone saying that they don't like Chef Boyardee canned ravioli, and then someone getting so offended they're like, "Well, never fucking go to Italy then."
Yeah. That's a wordy metaphor, but I like it. Yeah. I would workshop it a bit to try and shorten it.
I thought I just did.
Oh, okay.
I'll get there.
All right. So that said, it really speaks to like a media illiteracy or a willful ignorance or false memory of something. Because George Carlin was a rebel in a lot of the stuff that he said. It was challenging in speaking truth to power, but I don't think in the ways that you are thinking necessarily.
And not just that,
hypothetical person out there.
Not just that, but like, you know, we put way too much onus on idolizing people like George Carlin.
Yeah.
Like, maybe he was a cunt. I don't even know.
Yeah, like I
Right?
mean, as
Like,
far as his
why-
stand-up goes, he was a smart, poignant guy who I think was very passionate and had a lot of good things to say. And to that, like, you know, if you think me saying this is like super woke or like annoyingly woke or whatever,
No.
buckle up. I got a clip of George Carlin for you. This is him criticizing, well, or as he says it, not so much criticizing, but it is a criticism in reality. He is
Addressing, at least.
criticizing. He's talking about comedians who pick on the underdogs of society, of you know, say in a
punch
highly Islamic era of American culture and choosing to make an Islamic puppet that's a terrorist, you know, that sort of thing. And he uses Andrew Dice Clay as an example, because Andrew Dice Clay was a notorious, you know, early days of edgy comedian. And so, yeah, I would like the people who are trying to say, oh, I bet you couldn't handle George Carlin, listen to this and know that he has said this sort of stuff before, and this is his position.
I would defend to the death his right to do everything he does. The thing that I find unusual, and it's, you know, it's not a criticism so much, but his targets are underdogs. And comedy traditionally has picked on people in power, people who abuse their power. Women and gays and immigrants are kind of, to my way of thinking, underdogs. And, you know, he ought to be careful because he's Jewish. And a lot of the people who want to pick on these kind of groups, the Jews are on that list a little further. You got women, gays, gypsies, blah, 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 and then suddenly you find Jews. And Andrew,
Suddenly Andrew's arrested.
yeah, so, you know, I mean, obviously he should do what he wants. And
Why does he get away with it, do you think, then?
Well,
we
because
have
he's-
never laughed at jokes about the
well, he's
poor.
appealing. I think he's appealing largely. I think his core audience are young white males who are threatened by these groups. I think a lot of these guys aren't sure their manhood because that's a problem when you're going in through adolescence. You know, am I
And
really?
let me tell you, a lot of the people, the reactions that some of the negative reactions that I got from making fun of racist puppet man. Oh boy, how George Carlin nailed it right there.
Yeah.
Really, I mean, could I be? I hope I'm not one of them. And the women who assert themselves and are competent are a threat to these men, and so are immigrants in terms of jobs and the
So that's
so-called-
why we as an audience then will laugh.
You say we. I don't think you're.
I mean,
in there,
no,
But
I
I
mean
think
the
you're
collective we.
I think that's what is at the core of that experience that takes place in these arenas. Is a certain, you know, a sharing of anger and rage at these targets. And I'm sure Andrew isn't that angry at them. I'm sure he's playing it as a comic.
So what George is trying to tell us is that nothing has gotten better and everything's gotten worse.
Yeah. Like
Nothing's
this,
changed.
like you see how much younger Larry King looked in that clip, right? I'm not sure what year
Well, like,
this
scroll down
was.
a
Yeah,
little.
maybe it has more info. Because
So-
like in the height of Andrew Dice Clay's career, I'm pretty sure we're talking like mid to late 80s is when Andrew Dice Clay was like a thing.
Yeah.
You know. And so yeah, there's George Carlin right there defending my point. So if you want to talk about, oh, what do you find funny? You must just hate comedy in general and that sort of stuff. No, I like things that are funny, legitimately funny, and not racist.
1990. So in the past 34 years, nothing's gotten better.
Yeah. So yeah, that interview is from 1990.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious. Anyway, I'm giving you 4 more minutes.
What else do I have for 4 more?
All right, so we
4
can
more
go?
minutes. Oh yeah. Okay. Let's. Like I'm just gonna call myself Nostradamus again here. Yeah.
And the
What I
thing is-
say? What I say?
Yeah.
This fucker is not going to jail, man.
See,
He's not going.
The irritating fucking thing is that a year ago, I might even on the podcast have disagreed with you.
Yeah, I think you did disagree with me.
Yeah.
And I'm going to smugly take this win. I mean, I don't want to be right about this. I wish I was so fucking wrong.
know.
But I just had a feeling like I in just this it was a vibes-based thing in a lot of ways, and it was based on the historical evidence of Nixon. But I just got this impression that it's just like, no, once you're in this club, even if you're some sort of ostensible reject of the club or you're on the fringes of it or something like that, but once you're in it, I don't think they eat their own. I don't think they'll let it happen.
No.
And I just found it increasingly hard to imagine. And so I just like eventually thought, no, it's not going to happen. All this is just theater. It's just a show. And none of this matters. You know, they're not going to put this guy in jail. And so, yeah, this is, I think, the second or third time they've delayed it. And I said from the first time they delayed it, they're gonna kick this until after the election.
Yeah.
And sure enough, they are. And
Yeah.
I still have a feeling, if Kamala wins, the possibility of a Trump pardon is extremely high.
So here's my thing now. So a year ago, my argument against that would have been, no, I don't think Biden will. Now my argument is that she won't have to because cognitively Trump is declining so quickly. I don't think come January that he's going to be an issue.
Oh, okay.
That's the
Like they're
direction
like they may reach the point where there's like, yeah, you know what? There's no point in putting this guy in jail because he's just about to die or he's barely alive. Anyway.
I think it's going to come. I think it's coming that he's either just going to croak or be. I don't know what they do with the old Richies. They put them in a home. Like, what does that look like? What does that mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
But
I mean, they get to live at home. They just have servants.
well, that's what I mean. Is that like I don't know what you know, Alzheimer's.
I mean, his kids might weekend at Bernie's him. You know, they might puppeteer him for a bit.
Might be
maybe.
the most useful thing he's ever done.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Like, just I'm fascinated to see what happens at the debate with Kamala, which apparently isn't that supposed to happen this week? Isn't it supposed to happen Tuesday? Because
I don't know.
September 8th. I thought September 10. Am I making things up? I might.
I honestly have no idea.
All right, let's see. Trump Kamala debate.
Well, anyway, it's soup season. We just had chili. Chili, I think, counts. It's in the family of soup.
Yeah, September 10th.
So, yeah, I noticed a lot of people are in chili mode. I had
lean into chili mode.
Yeah, it is the season.
Even on September 10th.
You know, wearing my very comfy fall sweater. This is one of my favorite garments of clothing. Yeah. And, yeah, putting it on is just like, okay, it's fall now.
Whereas
September 10th is the debate. Okay.
Whereas I'm perimenopausal, and so I'm wearing as little as possible because I'm always hot.
Yeah. Yeah. She's a furnace, and I'm freezing cold all the time. So, yeah, that's how that goes. But, yeah, of course, he's not fucking going to jail. I'm telling you. And he will. I'm not saying I wouldn't put money on the pardon, but I would float it as a high possibility.
I'm putting my first possibility that he's incapacitated.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. To me, I think the possibility of some sort of formal pardon is higher than him being too out of it to serve time, or however you would phrase that.
But
I'm not even sure.
Here's the thing. In 2 days, we will get to see. Right?
Yeah.
When he goes head-to-head with Kamala, we'll have a better picture of his current cognitive state.
Yeah.
And so by our next show, we'll be able to speak more educatedly on that.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely.
Right. Anyways.
All right. Oh, yeah. Theme music, play us out.
Yeah. Because it's Sunday night, I work in the office, and I want to go have a bath.